Moving closer, the woman told him she was there to check if he was still out of his mind, thinking he could abandon his family just to lower himself to being a low-class artist. She added that he needed to return and help her run the family business instead of acting like a lunatic. Wobin looked at her without saying anything. She continued, reminding him that he was her only son, her only child, and that it wasn't fair for him to leave her. Cutting her off, Wobin told her to remind herself why he had left and why he vowed never to touch any of the family's money. He leaned in slightly, ensuring no one could hear, and accused her of murdering a good man who had loved her and given her everything, just to take his wealth. Surprised that he was still holding a grudge, his mother scoffed. She told him that the man had been 95 years old and dying, and all she had done was put him out of his misery. She added that she had worked hard for everything they had and needed his support. Wobin looked at her with disgust and told her she was wasting her time. He would never touch blood money. He walked away, leaving his mother standing there. That night, after the exhibition ended, Wobin and Minsu waited for the art buyer who had promised to collect the painting. Glancing at his watch, Wobin asked Minsu if she was sure the buyer had said they would come that evening. Before Minsu could answer, Yuna walked in. Both Wobin and Minsu were surprised to see her. With a huge smile, Yuna told them she was there to collect her painting. Wobin's expression changed. Disappointed and upset, he asked if she was the one who had bought it. She smiled and said yes. Annoyed, Wobin looked at Minsu and told her to give Yuna the painting. Then, without another word, he walked to his office. Yuna ran after him. She asked what his problem was, saying she thought he would be happy that she had bought his most expensive painting. Annoyed, Wobin told her that he spent months creating his paintings, pouring all his effort and passion into them so that people who truly appreciated art would buy them. He accused Yuna of undermining his work by purchasing it, not because she appreciated it, but because she wanted him. Yuna stood there, confused. She told him she did appreciate his work and that it didn't matter because he had made a fortune anyway. Wobin snapped, telling her he didn't give a damn about money. Minsu later found him outside smoking. Surprised, she asked if he smoked. Wobin said he only did when he was stressed. Minsu told him to make it up to Yuna because she was just young and in love. Wobin agreed, on one condition, that Minsu would come along. Minsu turned, looked at him, and agreed. That night, Minsu, Yuna, and Wobin went to a restaurant where they ordered food and alcohol. Yuna was in high spirits, thrilled to finally have a date with Wobin, even though Minsu was present. As they sat eating, Wobin couldn't keep his eyes off Minsu. He felt foolish for inviting her after promising himself he would stay away. He watched her as he ate, while Yuna, sitting next to him, noticed his lingering gaze on Minsu. To distract him, she apologized for buying his painting. Wobin turned to her and assured her that it was fine, admitting that he shouldn't have shouted or snapped at her. He encouraged her to eat and drink, adding that the bill was on him. As the night went on, the three of them became increasingly intoxicated. It was a fun evening, and Minsu noticed how delighted Yuna seemed. She was glad she had been able to lift her mood. As they continued drinking, one of Sunjin's father's guards entered the restaurant and announced that he had come to take Yuna home. She tried to refuse, but he picked her up and carried her out. Wobin and Minsu laughed as Yuna threw a tantrum. Later, Wobin and Minsu walked down the street trying to hail a cab. Minsu turned to him and thanked him for a wonderful night. Wobin looked at her and said he would do anything for her. She laughed and told him she was grateful for him and happy to have met him. Taking out her phone, she called Sunjin, but as the call connected, Wobin suddenly grabbed her hand. Minsu turned to him, confused. He confessed that he liked her, explaining that he didn't know how it happened, but he felt an overwhelming urge to protect her and be there for her. He admitted that he knew it was wrong since she was Sunjin's woman, which was why he had been trying to stay away. However, no matter how hard he tried, he couldn't control himself. Minsu stared at him before bursting into laughter. They were obviously both drunk. She playfully patted his shoulder and told him to stop being so serious. They laughed together, and she absent-mindedly put her phone back in her pocket, unaware that Sunjin had answered the call and had heard everything.